Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of Crypto, Coffee and Lo-Fi. Not the usual time that I post these episodes, but we had a bit of a dry Asia session, so there wasn't really anything for me to update on after yesterday's episode. However, I wanted to run over Bitcoin here and my thoughts on the market as volatility has started to pick up during New York. Also wanted to go over a trade that I took earlier. So, I explained in the previous episode that if we broke up above these highs and started to distribute above these highs, then we might be able to see a temporary short opportunity back into the range. Now, we got the lower time frame entry here on the 1 minute chart, but just because I'm entering on the 1 minute chart doesn't mean that I'm looking for a full hourly or 4 hour temporary retrace or trend change, right? So jumping back onto the M1, here is what I'm seeing. So let's just go over this. If you're new here, I'm using the same pattern to find accumulation, distribution, support, resistance. I'm using kind of liquidity techniques, I guess you could call it. So using double tops, double bottoms, key highs, and key lows as targets. So here you can see we swept out key highs, broke above temporarily, and then saw a sharp drop off after that. Now, if we look for the level that was responsible for taking these highs, right here, you can see that once we dropped below, we didn't come back and test that level. So I knew once we reach back up into this level, if we saw some lower time frame distribution, then we should be good to look for a lower time frame scalp entry. Now, if we saw higher time frame distribution, so as you can see, this distribution is on the hourly. So if we reach back into this hourly distribution and then distributed again on the hourly, then I could look for an hourly retrace. But if we came back into the level and saw some lower time frame distribution, then I could look for a lower time frame scalp. A bit wordy, but hopefully you get the point. So here we had equal highs, then on the M1 doing the same thing again. So this pattern that I'm using to find accumulation and distribution is pretty much just a head and shoulders. So a low, the low is swept, then we break up above the high is responsible for taking that low, and then we retest. And the same thing for a bullish example. Just like that. So we reached into the higher time frame level right here, formed a double top, swept the level around London open, broke below the lows responsible for taking the equal highs. Then once we retested, we formed a similar pattern again. So equal highs, breaking above, and then breaking below. And here's my entry right here. And then using the liquidity, techniques, I guess, as a target. Here we have the equal lows. We sweep out those equal lows right here and then note the reaction. So this was one of the most textbook examples that I've seen in a few weeks. We managed to snag 5R. I posted this in the Easy and Easy Out Discord chat and on Twitter, so feel free to go and check that out. But now that we've taken out these lows, what am I expecting? And what do we need to see for price to continue up? So just like I was looking for a sweep of equal highs and then the bearish level to confirm to get short, I'm looking for a sweep of equal lows, or a liquidity grab, and then the bullish level to confirm. So we've had the sweep. Now we look for the high that is responsible for taking those lows. So this high and this high here. If we can break above and then start to accumulate. So something like this. Then we can look to get long on the 15-minute to hourly. for something like that. Into this level here, or into this level here. Why these levels? So this is the low that's responsible for taking this high. This is the low that's responsible for taking that high. So just using the same pattern to enter, exit, and find targets as well. But we're yet to close any significant candle above this level. So we could be in for some more downside here. And if you watched the previous episode, you'll know that I was looking for an obvious break above, which we've kind of seen. We've seen a decent daily close. But then a retest of these levels. So here we swept out this key low right here. And we swept out this key low. If we look for the highs responsible for taking that low, you can see the most obvious one would be right here. We had to test this. So we could still come down into this level. If we reach down into here and then reaccumulate, then we can look to get long. Okay, so really not trying to predict anything. I think that's kind of the basis of the whole strategy. Is you're just waiting for a reaction at levels. Once you see the reaction, you use the pattern to trigger your entry, and then you use the liquidity as your target. So still nothing yet here on Bitcoin. Wi-Fi. Actually, I want to cover sushi. So if you watched the previous episode, I was looking at AVE and sushi. AVE actually got stopped out, so we took a loss on that. But then, where was it? Right here. So I covered this in the previous episode in more detail. So if you want to look at that, head over to the previous episode. But using the same pattern again. So we swept out this low here, broke above a high, swept out the low, broke above a high. My entry was right here with my stop right below this level. Unfortunately, we got taken out and price rallied right after that. But sushi, however, was a little bit cleaner. You can see that on the M5. Sweeping out a low, breaking above a high, sweeping out a low, breaking above a high. Ended up running. I closed it earlier for 10R. One of my best trades over the last few months. I don't always see trades like this. It's always quite rare. The only reason I left it for 10R as well was because I went to sleep and I left my target open. So that was good. So heading over to Wi-Fi. Alright. So looking at the bigger picture here, we swept out this low and we broke above this high. We swept out all of these equal lows a few days ago with this big drop off that we saw. And then we've reaccumulated after taking out those lows, which is a good sign, right? Now we swept out these equal lows and broke above the high. We haven't quite tested that level, so we could come down and see another low, something like this. Once, I guess, and if we do retest this level, again, just looking for the same pattern to form. But if we don't see that, if we see a H4 close above this level, then I'll look to get long. Okay, targeting above this high. If we take a look on the H4, there's a lot of room for us to run. This is one of the coins that has a solid project behind it, a solid team. The fundamentals are good with this, and we haven't seen a lot of this leg retrace yet. Plus the accumulation that we're seeing here. So if I do get the H4 entry, I'll be looking to take some profit above this high, and then ultimately all the way at all-time highs. All right, so we'll see how Bitcoin plays out over the next few hours. I'm going to be heading off the bed in a sec, so I might not be able to take the position. But again, looking for 15-minute hourly close above this level and above this level. The close is the first step. If we get to see the reaccumulation after the close, then we can look to get long. If we don't see that, then we could see another drop off, hopefully some reaccumulation here. If we don't see the reaccumulation here at this level, then I expect us to head further down. All right, so no worries, guys. If you enjoyed the video, like, comment, subscribe. If you like the way that I'm analyzing the charts, if it interests you or whatever, you can click the link in the description below, pick up a copy of the strategy. No worries. Enjoy the rest of your day. I will see you tomorrow. Bye.